Launching in May, the eagerly anticipated Starship Flight-4 is drawing near, bringing the ambitious goals of the leaders at SpaceX into focus. With the deadline fast approaching, SpaceX engineers are dedicating themselves tirelessly to ensure the full stack is ready for testing prior to flight. Concurrently, recent updates from the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, have surfaced, potentially impacting SpaceX's future plans. So, join us today on another episode of Great SpaceX as we delve into these developments and their implications. In late March and early April, crucial testing activities involving Flight-4 hardware were intensively escalated. The S-29 underwent 2 static fire tests on March 25th and 27th, followed by the B-11 completing a similar test on the 5th of April. Following these tests, the S-29 was rolled back to the high bay. Shortly thereafter, noticeable changes were observed as the heat shields in the nose cone were removed. Recent images from What About It depict the installation of new heat shields in this section. Moreover, on the 4th, during the transition of S-29 to make room for the S-30 prototype, it became apparent that many areas on the hull of S-29 no longer featured heat shields. Even the attachment pins were removed. This suggests a comprehensive effort by SpaceX to enhance details related to the heat shield, a component that encountered significant challenges during Flight 3. This focus is crucial considering that the primary objective of Flight 4 with S-29 will involve re-entry and splashdown. Musk recently articulated the goal for Flight 4 as get through high heating regime and smash into the ocean at a controlled spot, underscoring the importance of addressing heat shield concerns. Following an impressive static fire test, the B-11 was rolled to the Mega Bay on the evening of the 7th as anticipated. This move was expected due to the B-11 being initially transported to the launch site for testing without a crucial component, the hot staging ring. The return of the B-11 to the Mega Bay is likely to facilitate the installation of this essential system. Speaking of hot staging, the absence of this component accompanying the B-11 to the launch site may indicate that SpaceX has implemented significant upgrades to it. So, what are these upgrades? In a recent presentation by Musk, a new hot staging design was unveiled, reminiscent of the hot staging utilized on Russia's N-1N Soyuz rockets. This redesigned system is anticipated to be lighter and simpler than the current design, featuring larger vents to effectively direct and release heat and pressure sources. It remains uncertain whether the hot staging system on the B-11 adheres to this new design, as it has not undergone alterations in the grid fin like the proposed design. Therefore, we eagerly await further updates from SpaceX for clarification. In addition to the hot staging installation, the return of the B-11 to the Mega Bay provides SpaceX with the opportunity to inspect other critical systems such as the grid fin and engine. Following the impressive static fire test, engine testing becomes imperative to ensure reliability for the upcoming wet dress rehearsal test and the subsequent official flight. The grid fin is also a vital component that requires scrutiny, particularly considering SpaceX's intention to utilize a virtual tower system for booster landing. Both the grid fin and engine will significantly influence the success of this landing. As mentioned, with just over half a month remaining until May, SpaceX faces a tight timeline to complete work on S-29 and B-11. Subsequently, they must be rolled back to the launch pad for full stacking and the final crucial test, the wet dress rehearsal. If all progresses as planned, I anticipate that around the 3rd week of this month, the Flight-4 hardware will be fully stacked and undergo testing. What are your thoughts? Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Now, let's shift our focus to the recent update from the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, which holds significant importance in granting launch permits for Starship flights. In light of the estimates by the SpaceX leaders regarding the Starship launch in May, FAA officials have also issued noteworthy statements. Kelvin Coleman, FAA Associate Administrator for Commercial Space Transportation, remarked, "I think we can possibly get there. I'm not going to say we will get there absolutely in May, but I won't say it's out of the question either." Furthermore, Coleman emphasized that the Flight-4 launch license will require modifications due to the anticipated changes in flight profile, particularly the landing plan utilizing a virtual tower as recently revealed by Elon Musk. Additionally, the agency is striving to finalize public safety assessments of Flight 3 before granting licensing approval to SpaceX. In addition to the progress on licensing, the Federal Aviation Administration has delivered positive news to SpaceX. Recently, there were reports that the Biden administration was considering imposing taxes on commercial launch companies, notably SpaceX. This tax model resembled the policy currently applied by the Department of Transportation to commercial transport aircraft. The proposed tax aimed to support infrastructure development and address the impact of rocket launches on airspace. Previously, rocket companies enjoyed a tax-free ride regime. However, at the 39th Space Symposium on April 10th, Kelvin Coleman stated that the government currently has no plans to impose taxes on commercial launches. Specifically, he mentioned the president's budget request does not include a tax proposal. Coleman acknowledged that discussions about such plans had taken place, but clarified that they had not yet materialized into an official proposal. He concluded by stating, "At this point, there is no concrete proposal in the president's budget request. There are conservations, there's things we talked about, but I think there's still a way to go before we see something concrete in that regard." Certainly, the recent announcement brings relief to commercial launch companies, including SpaceX, following concerns over the proposed tax policy. Currently, SpaceX maintains its position as the world's leading rocket launch organization. In the previous year, they executed 98 rocket launches, representing nearly 80% of the total payload into orbit. For the ongoing year, SpaceX has ambitious plans to conduct up to 148 missions, with Elon Musk recently expressing the company's intent to boost the orbital launch rate to 90%. With this reassuring update, SpaceX can proceed with greater confidence in its plans. Moving on to an update from Rocket Lab, the company has unveiled its ambitious plans for rocket reuse. Currently, Rocket Lab is gearing up for its next launch, scheduled for no earlier than April 24th from Launch Complex 1 on the Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand. Dubbed Beginning of the Swarm, this mission will deploy 2 payloads to entirely different orbits. The primary payload for this mission is the NeonSat-1 satellite. This satellite is poised to assist the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology and Satellite Technology Research Center in Earth observation. Equipped with a high-resolution camera, NeonSat-1 aims to facilitate monitoring of the Korean peninsula during natural disasters. Notably, this launch marks the commencement of an 11-satellite constellation for South Korea, with NeonSat-1 slated for deployment into a 520-kilometer circular Earth orbit. In addition to NeonSat-1, the Beginning of the Swarm mission will carry NASA's Advanced Composite Solar Sail System, or ACS-3, as its secondary payload. This CubeSat is designed to test new materials for deployable booms that will support a solar sail. Once fully deployed, the solar sail will measure approximately 30 feet per side. Following deployment by Rocket Lab's Curie kick stage, ACS-3 will enter a 1,000-kilometer circular Earth orbit. Following that, the kick stage will ignite once more to lower its orbit, facilitating a faster re-entry into the atmosphere and mitigating the risk of becoming space debris. Furthermore, an essential objective for Rocket Lab in this mission is the reuse of the first stage. Building on their previous efforts during the flight last January, Rocket Lab recently announced at the Space Symposium in Colorado that they have integrated a previously flown Electron first stage back into their production line. This marks a significant step forward in their ongoing pursuit of rocket reusability. The first stage tank has undergone rigorous testing, surpassing expectations by enduring leak checks, structural testing, and excess pressure for over 20 times the normal flight duration, paving the way for its reintroduction into the production line. This particular first stage played a pivotal role in the 4-of-a-kind mission on January 31st. Rocket Lab has not disclosed whether any of the Rutherford engines from that mission will be reused or if all new engines will be utilized. Furthermore, the company has yet to unveil which payload will be launched using the flight-proven first stage. Rocket Lab's progress toward achieving full first stage reusability on Electron signifies a significant milestone, accompanied by the accumulation of invaluable data that will inform their efforts to recover Neutron, their upcoming medium-lift rocket. Rocket Lab's continued emphasis on reusability underscores its impact on the rocket industry. While its scale may not rival that of larger entities like Blue Origin, ULA, or Russia, Rocket Lab is achieving feats that these industry giants have yet to accomplish. While it may not match SpaceX's mastery of reuse with hundreds of successful landings and recoveries of Falcon first stages, Rocket Lab's progress positions them as a formidable contender in the race towards sustainable spaceflight. Their advancements pave the way for a promising future of development and innovation within the company. Well folks, that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, this is Kevin from Great SpaceX, and until next time, keep looking up.